As many of you know me, I think that there is someone who is new here, or at least I don't know the names. I'm Yana. I'm teaching driving for the past 18 years in Malta. I've never done it before. And to be honest, I love it. I love it because I give to people a freedom that, and not just a freedom, a comfort of their freedom. We are all free, but not everyone were comfortable with that. Some of us, the freedom scares us a bit. Freedom and power. Power to decide when, how, to decide as well if you want to do something, if you want to be on the road, if you are entitled, if you are there. In the meantime, I'm looking at I have two things here, and someone is texting me in the same time. So I am with the eyes on you here, and they're a little bit on the live one. Hello for the live people. So, driving exam. What is this all about? I've heard so many stories in Malta that the examiners are paid for failing, that the examiners are bad, that they are against the foreigners, that they are all kind of stories. Now, from my perspective, on 18 years of teaching and being present most of the time in the exam, and when I say most of the time, I'm cutting the times of COVID, when we were not allowed, and a little bit after, because it was a bit more comfortable for me. The tension that it's on the back, you wouldn't believe it. I could make my squeeze my clothes in a way that they're unrecognizable when I'm coming out. In these 18 years of being present behind my students, I tell you that much, they were never unfair. Yes, we might not accept their judgment, but they were not unfair. First and foremost, you have to understand driving examiners, they have a big responsibility. They have the responsibility of the car that they are into, and that car, it's not theirs and it's not yours, it is mine. And next day, if I don't have with what to work, or we hit a mirror or whatever it is, first, it is their honor because they're professional. And on the second hand, they have to watch me because tomorrow maybe I can work, maybe I cannot. So apart that they are really human beings, they are very responsible for what they have, what I handle them, which is my car. Now, the students, they feel very comfortable in the car because they are used to it. And not once students were, oh, this is like my car. They act like it is their own car. And that is why it's happening many times that students are entering in the roundabouts, or they're in junctions, they're jumping in front of other cars, quite comfortable because they are comfortable with the car. It's theirs. It's theirs, but it is not. Well, the examiner doesn't think it like that. Examiners, what I love in Malta, I made my driving license abroad. And when I got my license, we were 4 candidates in the car, 4 in the same time. 3 to be comfortable. And it was a policeman, and we would drive 10-15 minutes and swap. Now I'm saying I don't even know what he saw. And not just in my country, but even in many countries, European countries, unfortunately, the driving test means that the examiner comes and starts giving you wrong instructions. This is not happening in Malta. And my full respect and total admiration for the driving examination department, who is always precise. Some of you know I have a legal background, and from a legal background point of view, I'm telling you, to tell a person to go deliberately on a no entry or to enter in a situation that it's not okay, that's a crime. It's instigation of a crime. This is not happening in Malta. So let's start with the fact that the examiner in Malta does not want to see what you don't know. The examiner in Malta wants to see what you know. As much as in the moment that he sees what you know, he's not going to start spinning. Maybe he's lying to me, maybe he's faking it, maybe underneath is different. No. What you show, based on what you show, he's judging you and he's giving you the result. Now, if you're a foreigner or you're not, makes no difference. There are a lot of foreigners that they get their licenses and they leave the country quite months, weeks after. And they exchange it in their countries. It makes no difference to the examiner. It doesn't make a difference if you're young, if you're old, if you're foreign, if you're local, if you are well behaved or not outside. It matters how you are behaved on the roads on that moment. We are all, you candidates, you are all equal, and this is fantastic. So when you go in the car, it's coming an examiner, and he says, hello, my name it is. Nice, calm. And I would like you to remember this, this calmness and this opening of the examiner. You don't see him. He doesn't talk like this. No. I don't know how they make it. Honestly, I don't know how they make it because they have previous tests. No, in the test, things are happening. But for every test, they come impeccable. Maybe they don't smile. Why would they? It's a long day for everyone. But they are serious, they are open, they are willing to give you their best. And they say, hi, my name it is, your ID card, and that's it. The tone of their voice should not be a problem for you. Why? There are people that when they hear a voice a bit more nicer, they feel good. Some of them, they're completely disconnected. Some of them, they say, it happened. They say, but it's trying with me. It tries to be, it's too nice. Not exactly trying, but it's too nice. The people are how they are. You are how you are. So they try to have a neutral attitude. Now, in this neutral attitude, it's your duty to enter in his holy, in this area, in this space of calmness and opening. It is your duty to enter. The student, how it's coming, anxious, he doesn't know what is going to happen. Nothing is going to happen. And these nerves, you create as well a field, an energetic field. The problem is, if you don't enter in the field of the calmness field of the examiner, bit by bit with your action, you will attract the examiner into your field of anxiousness. And it's not something that nobody wants. Again, follow the examiner. I've never seen an examiner who wants bad for the candidate. Never. Never, ever, ever. Stories there are a lot of instructors out there that they're trying to justify or to make feel good their candidates. It can be even that the examiner, it's strict, the examiner, it's has a certain way of thinking. Yes, there are examiners, and each and everyone has their own personality, and each and everyone values something else more than the other, exactly like you value more than me or less than me certain things, and that's okay. But overall, all the examiners are having a list on which they go, yes, with personality. I'm not calling it subjective. They are precisely, but with personality. Examples. For some of the examiners, it makes a lot of difference, and it makes an impact and a very good impression when the student it's moving on open roads quick from a gear to another. Gets into the road first, second, third, fourth in 150, 200 meters if there is possibility. The fluency of the driving. There are others that they're appreciating the fact that very much the fact that although you are nervous, in the moment that you You have a situation, somebody jumps in front of you or somebody cuts in front of you. You're breathing in and out and you continue going and you're saving the situation. There are those kind of examiners that they appreciate more your attitude, because it's a loading attitude, yes? To get nervous, somebody to jump in front of you when you need the least. It's a whole lot of pressure over you, yeah? They appreciate the way that you pick up and you continue. There are other examiners that they're more mathematically. They calculate how many seconds approximately, but you see, I see them because I see them all, how they are. And it's normal. It can be in your favor at the end. You might be the same type like him. Why not? You might have the same mental and structure like he has. When they come, those that you had the exam and those that ask those that had already exams, friends of yours, the examiner stays like this. He would never look at you. He would never check. What are you doing? They try to stay neutral. I love to call them human GPSs, because they tell you go here, go there, or on the other side. And they try to stay as neutral as it can be. Sometimes, honestly, for the parking, they even turn not to disturb you. Don't think that they don't see. Don't think that they don't see. And those that you are my students, you know very well that I'm looking like a horse, like I have a horse glasses like this. I don't move, and I say, you move your head, you move your foot, you didn't leave the clutch, your eyes, they were rolling, you didn't turn. I know it all. They have the same qualities, just they don't come with the blah blah after. Examiners are extremely human and are extremely well prepared. Exactly how I see you when I'm looking straight, what you're doing on the side, the same way they are seeing you. And that's great. Remember, the rule of the game is like this. They don't know you, but you know them. Why you know them? Because the instructor is telling you all the time what the examiner is expecting from you. So you know the expectations of the examiner. The examiner doesn't know you. He sees you one and he hopes he will never see you again. Never again. Why? Because a small secret, okay, between us, we're just a few people here. When an examiner has a failing candidate, the paperwork, it's bigger than for the one that is passing. And I don't know about you, but a lot of people, they don't like the paperwork. Neither do I. But that doesn't mean that they will lower the standard. Okay? We make a difference between this. The candidate has to understand when it goes for the exam that he has in the examiner not necessarily a friend, but a fair, honest, and precise guidance. If he tells you go to the left, you go to the left. If he tells you in a certain way, they have their own phrases. For example, the first possible to the left or right, which is immediately a small click for possible. Maybe it's not the first one possible, because otherwise will be just the first to the. The instructor usually trains you for that. An instructor is talking like the examiner does. So in the moment that you get to the exam, you don't have surprises. You find the same wording, find the same instruction with very, very small differences. But yes, he is there talking to you the way you heard when you were studying. If you have doubts how much time an examiner takes to be prepared, I tell you, it takes even 9 months, 1 year. Yeah. It's a work that it's not seen. They have exams as well. And so they know what emotions there are. In fact, the very first minutes of the exam, even if you make a little bit of a mistake, of course not of those that you go in neutral and you keep on going, or they tend to leave it sideways, not to judge, and to see how eventually to mention it at the end, but not to judge you upon that. Isn't it that nice? It's not happening abroad. It is not happening abroad. I don't know how well prepared they are, those from abroad, and I don't even care anymore. I know how ours are prepared, and I want to assure each and every one of you that they are extremely well prepared. But they have their standards, and that's our job, to meet their standards. Now, what do you think if you, instead of examiner, you will look at the person who comes next to you for the exam as a person who's assessing you? I know it's costly, and I know that you have expectations. We all have. We have hopes, and we are willing to pass. But in the end, they are there to see half an hour, because that long it is the exam, half an hour, how you handle the situation. The car, technically, the situations on the road, which are multiple and they are complex, and your emotions. Because you can be the best driver in the world, and somebody comes, cuts your way, or you do a maneuver that the other one thinks that, oh my God, this is illegal, it's out of the way, start shouting at you, and you lose your shit, in English. And you lose it, and you jump out of your, get out of the shoes. So it is important to check even the level of emotions, how you handle your emotions. And I want to give you a trick, if you allow me. Who has a partner and has enough curiosity and courage, take a pan, one of those pans that this is plastic, but wood one. Ask someone to hold it like this and try to hit it in the middle with your finger, and you will see that you can't. Why? Because you're focusing at the pan. If you stay a bit and you practice and you focus not at the pan, but beyond, over the pan, in the moment that you hit it once with your finger, you're going to break the pan. Why? And this is one of the principles of the pedagogies. If you stop your attention, and if your goal, it is here, the chances to reach this goal are questionable. But if you go beyond, if you pass the level, and your expectations and your requests are over, you have much more chances to meet the request of the exam. And this is the principle of the pedagogy, and your parents used to do that. They used to ask you to have the bigger marks than what you eventually you had abilities, because that's the competition, and that stimulates you. In the moment that your goal for the exam, it is not to get my exam, but that half an hour to be a safe, calm, committed, and assumed responsible driver, you will go through the exam like nothing happens. How do I know? I tell you. I had students that they have various situations. They had the driving test today, and in 2-3 days' time, they had to sit for another one in those times where that was possible, because they were leaving the country forever, or they moved work, things really, and it was for real, it wasn't invented. Now, those people, went after 2, 3 days, 4 days, without any lesson in between, and passed the exam flying colors. For them was not the exam. The issue was, I need to go this process again because I will leave. They were focusing about leaving the country. They were focusing on moving over the exam. And it was shocking for me because I witnessed both situations when they failed at the beginning, and the second time, like nothing happened. What tells us is the importance that you give to an exam. Of course, an exam, it's important, but there is something much more important than that. Your abilities of driving every day for hours. We know the traffic, how it is. You go for 5 minutes and you come back after 2 hours. And when you come back after 2 hours, to be still calm and to be still able to continue your activity, not to carry the nerves from the road at home or at work. Okay? Now, going back to the examiners, please ask writing. I'm here, I'm trying to get, even in private, I will get your messages, any questions. The examiners, they don't want your head. They want a nice drive. They want a nice drive. Why there are stories around? Because it's easier to blame someone else. You know, when we were kids, it was never your fault. When we were students, it was never our fault. The teachers were not in a good mood. The weather was, the tummy was hurting, but it was not the lack of my knowledge or the lack of. To many of you, those that you are my students, I think I told you, I failed my first driving test. And I cried, and I cried, and I cried. Who saw me thought that something really bad happened to me or to my child. Oh, by the way, I was about 28. And it was not like that at all. When I arrived in Malta to make the exam for my dog, for the driving instructor, the same. I was training instructor and I went over the roundabout at the beginning of the testing area like it was not there. And the examiner, very nice person, asked me, "Are you okay?" "Yes, I'm fine." My goodness, how could you ask me something like that? Of course I'm fine. Excitement, the management of the excitement before the exam is super important, because that is what blocks us. And that excitement, we pass it to the examiner. Now imagine that you're calm at the cinema. Imagine yourself at the cinema. You're calm in your seat, willing to, maybe you're not super thrilled about the movie that somebody dragged you, "Come, let me go to the movie." You're not very thrilled. And next to you it's somebody which is all the time. It's moving. It's looking. It's what is going to happen? You start wondering, what the hell is wrong here? You start getting a bit of a sevrage. What's wrong here? You start looking like that person transmits you that overload, emotional overload. It is the same that you are doing to them. So from this point of view, the examiners are much nicer with the candidates because they don't transmit it. What they give you, it's calmness. Now, if you stay to watch their faces, you shouldn't. And my students, they know. I tell them many times, don't look at me. In fact, I had one of the students, she's here online, after months since she started, she's for the exam soon, then I noticed that she has beautiful glasses. I've never looked actually at the face, not because I was not interested, but because there are other things that are more interesting than the actual physiology. And the examiner is the same. The examiner is the same. Some small tricks, there are. So stay calm. That's one of them. 2, Foreigners, in a way, they have a different structure, educational, meaning the education abroad sometimes, depending on the countries, it's more strict. And they take it very seriously, very mathematical, very, they're like military. Maltese style, you know very well, those that you have kids, some of you, or you pass through the educational Maltese system, it's more relaxed, which is good because honestly not everybody has to be at the top. But that reflects in the process of preparing for the driving test. And the examiners, they know it. Then we have the category female, male. Well, I don't think that you need to be an examiner to know that male, they have more courage in driving, meaning they are faster. But ladies, they are more organized. They will be a bit stepping backwards, just a little bit, keeping distance, but they will be much more organized. Yeah? It matters. And there's nothing wrong in that. It matters to you when you talk with a female or with a male. You change your attitude. It's not flat. So it's very valid for them too. When they have a mature student, they know that the level of maturity doesn't have to be 100%. But it's know that the level of the maturity and life, it's creating a different mental structure, and that flame of the 18, 19, 20, it's pale a bit. It's gone. It remains just the good fire inside. But it's not 100%. And I'm going to tell you here a story that happened to me. Of course, all the stories that I tell you, they happened to me. I had a student, amazing student, which had a problem, a legal problem. And between 16 and 18, he was every weekend, he had a representative of the police at the door. That kid stood up for a colleague who was bullied big times, and he was a boxer. I think he still is, and he lost it. And literally, he beat the shit out of the one who was bullying constantly one of the guys in the group. So he got the police at the door. In that moment, my student promised that he will never break the law because he saw how his parents were. So it was a circumstance. That guy being boxer, it was really well built, tiny, all muscles. The examiner, it's not working anymore, he retired. When he saw him, he said, "You are selling me an image. You are not as cautious as you want to pretend." And that's the moment when the instructor, which was me, interfered. Said, "You cannot judge that." We, as instructors, we have the right and the duty to defend you when you deserve to be defended. And, believe it or not, the examiners, they accept. Why? Because they know that we spent time with you and we know you inside out. Yes, I can say that, inside out. And our opinion from that point of view matters, not from technical. Technical, it's what you can show at that moment. Again, who had exams over and over again knows very well that there are people that you don't pass an exam when you know the best. You pass an exam when you show the most. And the driving test falls under the same pattern. So, Let's recap a little bit for those that they entered maybe a little bit later. Examiners are not your enemies. The examiners are people that are extremely well prepared. They are extremely precise in what they are telling you. They don't want to see what you don't know. And they are delighted when you show them what they want to know and to see. And you know that because your instructor prepares you from day one on showing what he wants to see. The examiners are extremely calm when they come at the exam, when they face you and they are welcoming you. And they stay calm. That's the most interesting part. They stay calm. I don't know how, because me in the back I'm... But they stay calm. Although I think that inside you can't, because you have the responsibility. The examiner has the responsibility of the vehicle that does not belong to him and doesn't belong to you, and has the responsibility of a person well trained, which has to supervise and to anticipate the moves of the candidate. Now, here I want to tell you something. When I tell you the examiner has to anticipate the moves, it's up to you, to all the three devices. It's up to you to announce what you want to do a bit earlier. In the process of teaching, many times I'm telling you, go with the foot on the brake. Look, give a glance before you start an entire movement, an entire exercise. Why? Because in the moment that you look at the car who's coming, maybe not next, but it's next to you, or it's a bit far, and you just switch your eye size from the front to the side, or from this side to the other side because somebody comes from there, the examiner says, oh, this one sees. Hallelujah. It's more than good. It's hallelujah. So it's in your hands to give him that feeling. I try to make some materials, small ones. And I was telling you, always look around. That looking around, you look and you observe, because it's impossible not to see that you have a bus next to you. It's really impossible. I think that it's impossible. But that gives a signal to the examiner, I can see. And I'm pointing where I'm seeing. How good it is, it's amazing. Because your technique might be debatable, but the fact that you're aware of your surrounding, being aware of your surrounding, he says, okay, at least this one knows, prepares for what it comes. How, we will see, but at least he prepares. It happened many times, unfortunately. Oh, this is big, and I will tell you. I had a test, very well prepared student, junior college. We turned to the right on the small street to go towards El Shat Tal Msida. Parked on the left side, a minivan, school minivan, was talking with the lady after he dropped the girl. It was a girl. We came from the stop sign, the student turned, and without looking, the van started moving. No indication of, no, of course, no indication. It was a van for the school, what do we expect? No indication, moved off. The student was surprised, touched the brake slightly, 1 second before the examiner did. Basically, they went together. But in that moment when she was debating, is that real? The other one, the examiner, made an action. And she failed, my dears. She failed with one mistake. Her paper was clean. It wasn't even her fault. And most probably she would have stopped. I have no doubts. Why? It's a matter of timing. If you understand that, It will help you a lot. Don't doubt yourself. Don't give second thoughts. You want to do something, do it. Your first thought, your first instinct is the one that gives the message to the other one. There are no perfect decisions. There are decisions that you will adapt, you will adjust after you took it. Or you will cancel them. It happens. You can apply a brake and then you see that the situation changed, the other one applied the brake and you continue going. As much as you want to go and you see that the situation is not as you thought, the others are faster than you brake and you stop. And especially at the pedestrians. At the pedestrians, guys, be extremely careful. And the examiners are extremely careful. So there are no bad examiners. There are no bad examiners. I'm very sorry for those that they are selling this story. The standard of the exam is high, yes. Yes, yes, yes. I have students that they're coming with licenses from abroad and not East European to say that they bought the license. Countries, and they cannot drive here. Countries where the lesson, a driving lesson, it's from 70 to 90 and 120 euros an hour. Yeah? And they can't drive here. I have friends on the other side of the world, Canada, States, when they arrive in Malta, they cannot. Yes, once that you pass the driving test in Malta, you can drive everywhere. I have friends and students that they had driving licenses abroad soon. I passed, I did, so help me God, I made it, I didn't buy it, I didn't do any favors. They have no idea what they have to do. And not because it's on the other side of the road. Because when you handle the car, you handle the car. When you handle the situation, you handle the situation. So yes, the level of the demanding level of the driving test in Malta, it's high. Thank God for that, because that goes for you. Remember that in Malta, with the enforcement on the roads, it's very low. We don't talk why. It's not that the purpose. It's very low, and in that moment, if you look per capita, the accidents that are happening every month, fatalities are very rare. Very rare. We can put the motorcyclist, if you want, next to the cars, but we are right now related to the cars, so let's stay as we are, okay? Fatalities, drivers, four-wheel drivers, not too many. Accidents, yes, they hit here, there. Again, compare with abroad, where you need to finish in 30 days. You need to make your repairs, and you have, unless the insurance doesn't give you a paper that it's delaying the delivery, you get a fine. It doesn't exist in Malta. People are having accidents. They hit each other. They scream, then they stop. They exchange numbers. Not me. If you see me that I have an accident, I scream. Why? Because most of the times I think that I do the right thing. And anyways, I'm more used to with you guys than with those that they think that they know to drive. In fact, I have quite few students that I would dare to give them the car, and I would say, okay, you drive me to the airport, but not one who has already license. Okay? So yeah, the driving test in Malta has high expectations, but they are for you. They are for your ease of going, of being on the road, of going home without the nerves that you accumulate on the road. Now, I want to know if you have questions. There is an open chat. You can send me messages. Let's make this a bit interactive. You can ask what if something came into your mind, those that you had the exam related to that, those that you You hear the first time these things, be my guest. Questions, especially about the examiners, please, especially about the examiners. Ooh, how many questions? Come on, be brave. Yes, let's see, we have here something on the chat. So, no, thank you for the question. Do on the exam of Malta, we have to show parts of the car. No, you don't have to. Absolutely not. And I will tell you why. The logic is this: the new cars, more newer are the cars, they're all compact. So you open the bonnet and underneath you don't even know what it is. One single thing you should know as a driver, unless you are regularly booked at your mechanic, the way to fill up the reservoir for the windscreen washer. Okay, that you should know how to put it and you should know what to buy. Rather than that, no. Let's put it from a different perspective, not to say that you believe me or you don't. You start, it's hot in Malta. We drive before. Do you know how is that bonnet? It's burning. Do you think that somebody wants to get all that heat in the face when you lift the bonnet? No way. No. Plus is the dirt, then you get the hands dirty, you go on the, it's not hygienic, hygiene zero. So no, definitely not. There are some questions that they are asked before, which they make an impression, but they don't move the balance of the exam up or down. What are the national speed limits? How do you check the tires? How do you check the brake lights, the indicator? Things that are extremely practical. They're extremely practical. Some they are set, some they are not. Why? Because you are 5, 8, 10 candidates starting all from the testing area. You cannot go all in the same time. You meet at the first corner, at the first traffic light, the first roundabout. Yeah? So some they go with one question, some they go with 2 questions, one longer, one shorter, like show me where are the hazard lights, or show me how the back wipers or the screen washer works. Simple things, basic ones, which absolutely a driver should know it. So no, even the tread of the depth of the tread of the tires, those rings that are on the tires, the question it's done, but you don't get to see it because our tires are always maintained, and if nothing else, the tires has to be standard because you're skidding. We have different surfaces, so no. Thank you very much for the question. Let's see who else. Somebody brave, one of our gentlemen here. Come on, guys. Some new ideas. What's the passing rate per overall? Nobody's publishing it. I'm having here a message. Nobody's publishing it, and it's good. Why? Because it's not real. And any passing rate of a school or of an instructor or of an examiner, it's not real. Why? Because it's a matter of circumstances. Emotional most of the time. Does not the reflection of the potential and of the quality of preparation of the candidate, it's not 100% on the passing rate. No. If I would make a rate, I would make it different. In the first 6 months, how many of them they have small accidents or accidents? That can be a bit, because in real life we act a bit different. I would love to know that, and I'm always following new drivers. I ask them, hey, how it's going? How is it going? Yeah. Come on. Courage. What would you like to know about the examiners? Because basically this workshop, excuse me, I'm going to take a sip of water. This workshop, it is mostly to present you the examiners and the technique of holding a driving exam. How it's entering, how it's talking to you, what's his state of mind. Don't misjudge him. If you misjudge him, you start from a wrong foot. How many of you have a manager, a boss, and I don't really like? Who the hell likes bosses, managers, especially when they give you tasks? But you trust him. When he tells you, do this, prepare me this material, you trust it. And you trust even the fact that at the end of the month you get the paycheck. He doesn't have to ask you how your mother it is. He doesn't have to ask you how your weekend was. But you trust. It's a partnership. This is what you have with the driving examiner, a partnership. With me, you have a motherhood. I'm protecting you, I am pampering you, I am screaming, but if it's necessary, I put you back on the place, I help you, even extra. But the examiners, no, there is a partnership. You need to trust him. It's for your sake. He will never do anything. He will not tell you never ever something which is against you. Don't expect from the examiners all the time encouragement. Good. That's correct. Bravo. You did right. No. It's like at school. When you have a thesis, you go at school and the teacher says, out a piece of paper, test. Let's have a test. Control test. Right. 3 lines of this, 4 of that, 5 of that. Only that here it's not exactly a surprise, it's prepared, it's a preparation for. Yeah. Take the exam as an assessment. A lot of times students are asking me why it takes so long even to sit for the exam, the slots. Well, you have to know that we have few examiners and they make all the categories. They make motorcycles, buses, trucks, and with the waiving of the international licenses for pro drivers, taxi drivers, company drivers, the volume of the drivers increased a lot of the examination. And because the volume increased a lot, the level of preparation sometimes, because we don't have money, because there are very reasons. The student cannot prepare or has a program that doesn't allow him to follow consistently and with a certain rhythm the lessons. And there are blackouts. Now Millie is going to jump. And that is why a lot of failures, those failures are going back in line. It's like at the supermarket, you know, you skip the line, you forgot something, you go back. And again, the tail is getting long and somebody's again going all over again. It seems that it starts to be better. We have 2 new examiners. I don't know how they are. I haven't seen them in the car. But usually the new examiners, they need a little bit of time to get with the system. Meaning they will be very precisely, very much after the sheet, which is good. Because that sheet, you know it. Who doesn't know it, please ask for it. Ask for it, I'm ready to give it to you. And probably I will post it as well, with the material online. So if you know the papers, you know what they expect you. It takes time. It takes time till a new examiner gets in shape, and then it's saying, this is my style, this is what I want. He gets the responsibility of having its own opinion. We are very lucky that we have finally a manager who was an examiner as well, so they know what is this all about. Everybody is, the eyes on the examiners are pro one, and it's a nice team. We have a nice team. That's for sure. I know you've heard a lot of things that you can bribe and you can buy the license. In English, they say bullshit. Why? Because the list of programming comes from LIA. Okay? It's done by a group of people. 1, 2, sometimes 3, depends. That list goes to the center in Floriana. Now, if in the morning it happened, and it happens all the time, in the morning there is a phone call calling in sick, or they realize that they have an issue on a different category, they swap. So the application for the exam passes at least in 2 hands. What chances, what probabilities are that someone who arranged the license knows exactly the 2 people? Let's say maybe he knows 1, but to know exactly the second one doesn't exist. Doesn't exist. And I've seen a lot. And I had people, honestly, number 1, 2, 3 in the country, students and diplomats. And no. Not because they couldn't. Not because they had, when you see the name, that's it. And they were names, big names. So no. Yes, there were some scandals for bribing. It is true. Yes, it is true. There were some scandals, but they were. It took a bit of time, till you prove it, till you chase it. But they were sorted. They were really sorted, and it was never the candidate who suffered. It was the examiner. The candidate itself, no, it didn't suffer. Not that I know of. On practicals, it's very hard it's hard to believe that somebody can arrange something. I had diplomats, for God's sake. And from respect, when I say diplomats, one of those that you go and you bend your head down, almost kissing hands. Still, she went about 3 times. Yeah. So, no. I don't believe it. They can tell me whatever, I don't believe that the practical exam can be arranged. And I'm looking at the examiners and I don't see any who is ready to jeopardize his working place, which is stable, for the sake of a 100, 500, 1,000 euros. How many thousands of euros can you make? Honestly. And Malta, it's small. You fart here, on the other side, it's a bomb. Even what you didn't say, you didn't do, comes huge. Yes, I know that it was one of the situations. It's over. And it was over before you got to know it. In silence, elegant, very, very elegant, everything was sorted. So guys, whoever tells you that, another story. Candidates, friends, that they tell you, in 15 minutes I finished. No, if you finished in 15 minutes, you failed. If you finish your exam in 15 minutes, you failed. Why? Because the examiner has to write the time when he started and the time when he finished. And it's public. And it's public. And a good instructor will always ask, why did you finish so soon? Now, in the exam, you might have a situation where you got mixed up. For example, you entered in a roundabout and you didn't enter correctly. Without being perilous, it was a misjudging. You're going, for example, straight, you take the right lane, or you're supposed to go to the right, first exit. There are varieties. If there is time, and if the road allows you, the examiner will have, it's not if he likes it, if the time and if the road allows it, the examiner has to repeat a similar situation to make sure that it was not a misjudging, but it's a habit. And this you will find it, those that you had the test, on turnings, turning to the right, especially turning to the right, over and over again, turn to the right, or moving off uphill or at the stop signs. When you have it more than 3 times, they're looking for something. They're looking to see, either you didn't make it very nice the first one or the second time, and they want to see, is it a habit? Or it was just a normal mistake, you made it once and that's it. And to tell you how honorable things can be, on a slow, you have stop signs. You stop at all of them, and at one of them, especially uphill, or if somebody jumps in front of you, you go extremely slow on the first gear, over it, slowly looking. We call it a rolling stop sign. It's not a failing, because the examiner judges based on what you did before and on the circumstance of that rolling stop sign. Now, if you make it twice, with all the respect, stop signs are very important for the exam. If you don't know to stop at the stop sign, the examiner really is not interested in what else you know. It's basic. It's like when you enter into an office and you say good morning or you say goodbye. If you cannot say good morning, what else? Okay, so yeah. Bribing, no. Don't swallow, don't buy what others are sniffing. No. And to tell you, I had the truck driving test. I got my license for the truck, C. And I was super colleagues, yes. I was for many years now instructor. And I went one finger over a yellow line, which I've never seen. Don't ask me, I don't know how, I haven't seen it. It was yellow like the truck, because the truck was yellow. And they stopped me. And I said, why? What did I do? He said, the yellow line. All the others, they were there at the testing area, they turned a little bit, and then they come and they were telling me, oh, come on, he could have passed you. We are colleagues, we know each other. I said, boy, yes, but if it's fair, it's fair. And he apologized. He kept on apologizing. I'm really sorry, but I cannot. Say, hey, it's okay. You're right. Do you really think that it was that difficult in the middle of nowhere at Halfar to say, you are one of ours? And we are in very good terms even now. It was one of the examiners that, out of doubt, I put my both hands in fire and my neck on the wood for him. Revolution. Yeah. Millie. So, questions, please. from everything that I told you, no one is interested in something gossip, what's spinning around. So does the revving the engine at the junction